The judge slammed his gavel down and barked, "Stand for your sentence," and just like that, the courtroom went dead silent. Sergeant Lena Carter didn't move, not because she didn't want to, because she couldn't. Her prosthetic leg, worn down after years of inadequate VA support, gave out beneath her. She hit the floor, hard. A gasp rippled through the room. The judge, a man known for his zero-tolerance rulings and a face carved from stone, narrowed his eyes and said nothing. But then something happened. No one saw coming. One man stood, then another, then 100 more. "I stand for Sergeant Carter," they echoed, one by one, until the entire courtroom rose around her. Let me back up a sec. Lena was up before the sun that morning. Her apartment in South Dallas was still dark when her alarm blared at 5:30. She laid there, just breathing, not in meditation or peace, but in pain. Chronic, bone deep. Don't want to move kind of pain. You know what I mean. Her VA benefits had been delayed again. Third time in 2 years. No meds, no appointments. Just a polite letter in the mail and a pain that wouldn't quit. So when a fellow vet offered her some leftover prescriptions, yeah, she took them. She wasn't trying to be a criminal. She was just trying to get through the day. But the system doesn't care about trying. It cares about rules. She got arrested during the handoff. No resistance, no weapons. Just Lena, a Purple Heart recipient, treated like a junkie in cuffs. Now, here she was standing in front of Judge Raymond Bell, a.k.a. the Blade. 28 years on the bench, never once overturned on appeal. He was famous for not caring about sob stories, especially not when the defendant was black and poor, especially not when it involved drugs. You're not getting sympathy from Bell. Her public defender warned, he doesn't do nuance, and her lawyer, by the way, completely useless. Couldn't even pronounce her rank right in court. Misread half her file. Didn't mention her service, her injuries, or the fact that the VA hadn't done its damn job. Lena watched from the bench as other cases were called. White defendants, kids caught with pills, DUIs. Even assault all got breaks. Probation, treatment programs, second chances. Then came Lena, and Bell didn't even let her finish her sentence. "We don't have all day," he snapped. "My prosthetic is giving me trouble," she tried to explain. Her voice quiet but steady. "No excuses." He barked, "Stand." That's when it happened. She tried, and her leg gave out. There was a beat of silence, a beat so thick you could cut it. Then, from the gallery, an older man in a faded Marine's cap stood. "I stand for Sergeant Carter," he said. His voice didn't shake. Then another rose, and another. Veterans, nurses, activists, strangers. One after another they all stood, 112 people. The judge's face cracked, just for a second. Then, without another word, he recessed the court and left the room. And Lena. She was helped into an ambulance, not jail. Now here's the twist you didn't see coming. That whole event. It wasn't spontaneous, not entirely. The night before sentencing, a reporter named Elijah Brooks had called Lena. Said he'd been researching Judge Bell. Said he'd found something, a pattern. Over 5 years. Bell had sentenced black veterans 48% longer on average than white ones, even when the charges were the same. And women, even worse. Elijah ran the numbers. Lena's case was just the latest. She told him everything about the VA delays, about the pain, the pills, the protest she'd led outside the VA clinic. He promised to publish it before dawn. She didn't think anyone would care. But someone did. Turns out, the man in the Marine's cap was Elijah's uncle, also a vet. And the article, it went viral by sunrise and people showed up. They didn't come for drama. They came for Lena. In chambers. Judge Bell watched it all unfold on the news. The footage of the gallery rising. The hashtags flooding social media. The press at his door. For the first time in decades. Bell was rattled. The next day, Lena was back in court bruised, exhausted, but standing proud with a better prosthetic funded through a new emergency VA grant that hadn't existed until her story hit headlines. Her lawyer replaced. This time, she had Victoria Moreau, a military justice attorney who came out of retirement just for her case. Victoria laid it all out. The medical records, the VA's negligence, the disparity data. Then she played the footage of Bell's previous rulings, his dismissive tone, his pattern of bias. And then, the chief judge of the district walked in. A full ethics panel had been convened mid-trial. They listened, they reviewed, and after 2 days, they suspended Judge Bell for 6 months. Ordered mandatory bias training, reopened hundreds of old cases. As for Lena, all charges dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never come back. She didn't cry. She didn't cheer. She just walked out steady, silent, head high. Weeks later, she testified before Congress, told them what the courtroom didn't want to hear, that justice can't exist where bias is allowed to fester, that standing up for yourself shouldn't mean standing alone. She created a support network for other vets like her, met weekly at the VFW. They called themselves the Standing Room. Kind of poetic. Huh. And Judge Bell. He now works with a judicial reform initiative, reviewing sentencing practices across the country. Some call it redemption. Others call it a PR stunt. Lena, she says. At least he's finally standing for something. Last time she stepped into that courtroom, it wasn't for her case, it was to teach a seminar for law students. Same building, same bench, different story. She paused at the steps where she once collapsed and smiled. Because sometimes, justice doesn't wear robes. It wears boots and scars and grit. Sometimes, the system fails you, but the people don't. So now, I've got to ask you, what would you have done in that courtroom? Would you have stood? Drop a comment. Share your story. Let's talk about what real justice looks like, not just in court, but in life. And hey, if you believe everyone deserves to be treated with dignity, no matter what, hit that like button. Let the algorithm know this story matters.